Shalom Mubaraka, Mishpaka, peace and blessings family. In this video I'll be discussing an updated route. It's not really that updated because I basically talked about it in my video. Why the Red Sea crossing makes more sense in America. You should go check that out. In fact, if you haven't watched this video, I'll repeat, if you haven't watched this video, go watch that video right now. It is linked in the top right corner of this video. Go watch that video right now. Don't waste any time. Go watch it right now. Okay, now that you have watched the video, watch this video. And I will furthermore prove that the Red Sea happened in America. But it's a little bit with updated information on where Goshen is. At one point I stated that Goshen was right here, but that doesn't make sense because this would have been the best part of Mizraim. If the Mizris segregated the children of Yasharal from them because they felt like the children of Yasharal were less than, why would they give them the best land? This was the best land. Any delta of any river is going to be the best part of that river. With that being said, you would not give slaves the best part of the land, especially if you're segregating them off. So with that being said, when you have a delta, what is a delta? A delta is a merge of several streams that flow into one river that enter into the sea. So as you can see, you have this Gila River, you have this Colorado River. They enter by the city of Yuma, and they feel the ocean, because all this was ocean. Everything from around just south of Joshua Tree National Park all the way down was ocean. That's why we have the Salton Sea. Why is that sea salty? Because it was once a part of the ocean. It's not even too difficult to imagine or think about, right? At one point, if the white man would have never created any dams in this entire area, it would be very possible to drive from San Diego, California, and see the Red Sea by the highway. It would be very easy, but there would be no highway because no highway is going to cross the ocean. You understand? So they had to build dams and things in that area so they can keep their capitalism going. It's all about capitalism. So they will change the land. They will change the land for money. But anyway, besides that, I digress. This is the point that I'm making. The children of Israel were actually in this area, what we call the Gila River. This is the land of Goshen, that narrow strip. This area was also fertile and fruitful, but at the time it was not as fertile and fruitful as this area. This area right here has all the silt deposits because so much sediment is being carried from all the streams into this one area. So a delta, any delta, is going to have a lot of silt deposits, and silt is very good for any plant that you can think of. It's going to grow an immense amount of food, and it's going to be therefore this capital of all the commerce of the area. Therefore, this will be the ideal spot for the Mizris, while this would be the ideal spot for the Israelites, the Gila River. Now, this is the big question that everybody asks me. Why didn't the Israelites just go north? If they were right here, or if they were right here, I used to believe they were right here, but now I believe they're right here. If they were right here, they could have just simply went up and made it into the Holy Land. Why didn't they do that? Well, at first my argument was that they couldn't do that because they would have to cross the Grand Canyon. Who's to say that the Grand Canyon even existed at that time? Because it didn't. The Grand Canyon is actually relatively new. Regardless of what scientists and geologists tell you, the Grand Canyon is actually relatively new, and it was prophesied in the book of Ezekiel to form. Because around the Grand Canyon, all this were major Egyptian cities, but because the land got so extremely dry, all the plant life in the area died and the river had no support. Therefore, the fast rushing waters pushed deeper and deeper into the soil, and therefore collapsing all the land around it. Therefore, literally causing buildings and entire cities to fall into the earth. If you like to build your ruach or your spirit, you must like to build your health as well. Check out our website, J&R Eden Herbs, for all your holistic needs. We have over 100 quality products that include supplements, teas, soaps, incenses, tonics, and more at very affordable prices. Click our link in the description to heal yourself today. Yeah, I bet people didn't even realize that that's what happened, but yes, that's literally what happened. The Grand Canyon is literally filled with structures, bricks, dead humans, all kind of things. And you can kind of see how fertile the Grand Canyon would have been at one point, because even surrounding it, we have some of the most lush green areas, even to this day. But here's the thing. The Grand Canyon didn't exist, but something even worse than the Grand Canyon existed at that time. The children of Mizraim lived all right here. And why would the Israelites leaving Goshen go through entire Egyptian cities just to get to the land when they're trying to get away from the Egyptians? That's the whole point. The entire purpose of the Exodus was to literally get away or to avoid the Mitzris, right? So why would they go through Egyptian cities to do that? It wouldn't even make sense. Also, that's the same reason why they didn't just go through this way, go directly west. They could have simply went directly west and made it that way. But they can't do that because more Egyptian cities. But even if they were to do that, they would still have to cross the Red Sea, because the Red Sea stretched all the way down. So that would just be idiotic. Also, they couldn't just go northwest either, because more Egyptian cities were right here. So in order to completely avoid Mizraim and to get back into your own land, the only thing you can do is cross the Red Sea. See, look, watch. If you're right here, if you're in this area, the only thing you can do is go into the wilderness. This is why it's called the wilderness, because there's nothing there. That is complete desert. And stand at the edge and cross right here. Now this is this area right here that's called Biosphere Reserve of the Upper Gulf of California and Colorado River Delta. This part right here is the part that we crossed. 100% without a shadow of a doubt. And the reason why I say that is because, as you can see, this area is very shallow. It's shallow now, and it was also shallow back then. But it's important for us to understand that this was not always a delta. This was once just a simple part of the ocean. This was ocean. All of this was ocean right here. All these little cities that we have would have been completely underwater. Mexicali would have been completely underwater. All these cities right here would be completely underwater. The Salton Sea would have been directly connected to the Red Sea, as well as Mecca, Valerie, Thermal, Vista, Santa Rosa, Coachella, La Quinta, all these cities, including Palm Desert, Cathedral City, Thousand Palms. The only city that probably would have not been underwater is Palm Springs, which would have simply been on the coast of the water. Now, here's what I'm trying to tell you guys. This is the part that we crossed, because that's the only direction that we can go to avoid the Egyptians completely. I already explained to you guys why east to west direction makes more sense than west to east direction in my video entitled Why the Red Sea Crossing Makes More Sense in America. You should have watched this video. If you have not watched that video, you shouldn't even be watching this particular video. Also, I've explained how the Red Sea crossing in the Middle East is actually impossible because there's a canyon at the bottom of the Red Sea in the Middle East in the Aqaba Gulf because of the tectonic plates of the earth. That area right there is ripped apart. So it's impossible for people to cross. You would have to go like 500 meters down into a canyon and climb up a 500-meter mountain just to cross that body of water. If it's split, it just doesn't make sense. So yeah, that's how we crossed. This was a very shallow thing of water. It was very flat. We could cross it. The water split. One wave going this way, the other wave going this way. Yah, of course, sent an east wind originating from the east, thus aiding us and making us walk faster instead of us walking against the wind in the Middle East. So when we look in the Middle East, right, let's travel. This is where they said we crossed. This is where they said we crossed. Right here in the Gulf of Aqaba. It just doesn't make sense. See, they don't even know where we crossed. A lot of people will say, more orthodox people say we crossed around right here, which would actually make more sense because that territory is more flat. But this is actually more difficult to cross because you'll have to go very deep, basically climb a mountain to cross. But the whole time you're going from west to east. Either way, it's illogical because you are going in the opposite direction of the wind. The wind is blowing this way, but you're walking this way. So your face is going to be hitting the wind, and this wind is going to be powerful enough to split an ocean. So how are you breathing? It just doesn't make sense. Also, almost every biblical scholar will say Goshen was in this area right here, the Nile Delta. How are we getting right here, all the way right here, anyway? How are we getting from right here to right here when we can simply go to Israel like that? Just walk there, bro. There's no need to cross any sea. You don't have to go south to cross this sea. You don't have to go south to cross this sea. But then people say, oh, because scripture says we had to avoid the Philistines. Well, the Philistines only lived right here according to the Middle Eastern model. You could have walked from here and made it past the Philistines and entered into the land. Why are you going south? There's absolutely no reason to go south if you're in the Middle East. Why are you trying to cross the Red Sea? If Goshen is right here, why are you trying to cross the Red Sea? That's very difficult, and it's simply, there's of no importance to do that. You can literally just walk on dry land the entire time and enter into your place with an even shorter route. You're going south just so you can go on difficult terrain into some mountains that you can't even pass. And some people saying you're going south, you're going here. These are difficult mountains that you can't even pass. Then you're crossing the ocean. Come on. Now you're in even more difficult mountains to pass, and you're going up these mountains all these 40 years, which this is only like a 5-day walk right here because the area is so small. And you cross the Jordan River and you're in the land. Guys, no sense whatsoever with this Middle Eastern model. So there's no point for you to go south. You could simply go this way the entire time, and you can be dry the entire time. You don't have to cross bodies of water or anything like that. But with America being that Goshen is along the Gila River, crossing the Red Sea is literally the only option that we had. There was nothing else that we can do. There was absolutely nothing else that we can do. This would be the territory of the crossing site, this area right here. And you're probably not going to be able to find any chariot wheels because chariot wheels at the time were made of wood. And wood floats, and it's going to catch the current. And it's going to eventually end up in somewhere in the Pacific or even Antarctica. And over time, that wood is going to decompose. This was 3,500 years ago. And And you expect me to believe that chariot wheels just sunk to the bottom of the ocean somehow, even though they're made out of wood, and somehow lasted 3,500 years without being decomposed? And you allow me to believe that? So you're probably not going to find any chariot wheels, but you may find skeletons, horse skeletons, things of that nature. If you dig for it and you look for it, you might be able to find it. If you're familiar with Migration Series 5, you see that I said that the children of Israel came all the way down and crossed right here. But that would be pointless. That would be just as idiotic as the Middle East. Yes, I'm going to correct myself for all the things that I said that's wrong. Like I said, this is a journey here, guys. We got to make things as true as possible and get down to the precise accuracies of history. So the reason why I said it's ridiculous is because there's no point of coming all the way down here when you could just go boom and just go up. And also, going from these two islands, you know how long it would take to walk across that? This is a huge distance. Let's just say that this was connected to land. Let's just say both of these were connected to land. That's a 40-mile walk. You can only go at most 30 miles in a 12-hour day. They're traveling at night. You understand? They would not be able to make it. The Red Sea crossing happened in only one night. And it probably happened so quickly that there was more hours to spare afterwards. You know, we had children with us. We had elderly. It would make perfect sense for this area right here, somewhere along this area right here, to be the Red Sea crossing. Right? It would make perfect sense for some area along here to be the Red Sea crossing. Like only 16 miles across. Still a long journey, but hey, it makes sense. Hey, to be honest with you, it could have been someone right here, because if we're talking Yam Suf here, this part is green, so we might be only we might only be traveling 12 miles. Like I said, a human can go 30 miles in one day, one 12-hour day. We're going 12 miles. That's less than half what you can go in 12 hours in one night. So with that being said, this point right here looks like it makes the most sense. It's the shortest route. And another thing I like about it is how it's like green right here. That's the embodiment of Yom Suf. You know what I'm saying? This part literally is full of reeds right by the sea. You understand? It's basically the most fertile part of the Red Sea. But see, as you can see, there's no Red Sea right here anymore. Who knows if it was this green in this particular area 3,500 years ago, but if it was, it would make, you know, a lot of sense for it to be it. Yam Suf means sea of reeds, and as we just seen, there was a lot of reeds in that particular area. If they were to cross, you know, from right there, it would be just fast enough for everybody to go on safely. Now, here's the thing though. The Red Sea is not just called Yam Suf. It's also called Sufa. Sufa means hurricanes. Hurricanes are storms. And what's important about that is, in the West, if a hurricane or a great tempest comes, it's going to make a route that looks like this. It's always going to do it, trust me. As somebody who studies this type of stuff, I tell you, this is the only thing I see. Just like many scriptures say, the south wind brings the storms. The south wind brings the tempest because they're coming from the south. So the Gulf of California receives the storms, you know, this The Middle East just simply does not fit this description. Because any storm that they receive in the Middle East, they don't even receive normal hurricanes. They have cyclones, tropical cyclones, right? They're very similar to hurricanes, but yeah, and they don't hit the Sinai Peninsula. They don't affect where Goshen is supposedly, and they don't affect where the Red Sea crossing would have took place. If they did, it would flood out the entire Jordan River basin, which would kill millions of people. The only reason Israel is so populated is because they don't get those storms. But anyway, let's talk about the facts when it comes to the Middle East and their storms. The Arabian Sea, specifically the northern Indian Ocean, is the area where tropical storms form and impact countries such as Oman, Yemen, and sometimes Iran and Pakistan. But these storms do not affect anywhere where biblical events supposedly took place, whether it be Israel, Egypt, or the Sinai Peninsula. So it wouldn't make sense for the Middle Eastern Red Sea to be called Sufa, or the Sea of Hurricanes, if no hurricanes even pass through it. So again, guys, question history. Wake up. You're in a dream. Everything they taught you guys was literally a lie. Research how Napoleon Bonaparte never existed, and you will see how everything else in history is also an allegory. See how they tell you the Bible is allegory? No, the Bible, the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament, is the only thing you can trust. We have been programmed, lied to, and the entire Middle East was set up by Constantine. Because I got some documentation about Constantine moving Israel from the Atlantic region, which is the Americas, to the Middle East. Yeah, I think I covered everything. I know people are gonna say, yo, bro, you're supposed to make this video. You're supposed to make this video. You're supposed to make this video. Yes, I'm very backed up. In the future, I'll be uploading the video that I prove that we were actually in the Mojave Desert during the Exodus, because that's the true land of Sinai, because I went there and I found more proof, indeed proving that that's the land. That was my first expedition, by the way, and felt very good and great to see the land and stand where Moses himself stood. I'm also working on a video describing the in detail nature of Yah. That's a very important video. Whether Yah is an angel, is Yah the Most High, what is Yah, all about Yah, right? Just about Yah. That's coming very soon as well. Working on that one. I'm also gonna make a video about reincarnation and life after death. Very anticipated video as well. I'm also gonna make a video about how the American Indians actually had all the biblical weapons and more, because people are like, oh well, American Indians don't have swords. I'm gonna be basically proving yes, they did have swords, all other biblical weapons and more. So I'm gonna be making a lot of videos coming very, very, very shortly, guys, and we're on this together to completely aim for perfection in the lies and deceit that they told us about history. And if you want to continue to support my expeditions so I can go to these lands and find more evidence to prove that we were there, then please support my Patreon. The link is in my description, as well as the pinned comment. Come on, guys, please support my Patreon. Nobody regrets getting on my Patreon. You learn so much on my Patreon. I help you by giving you knowledge that most people don't have access to, or at least have access to yet, and you help me by giving me the funds so I can go on these expeditions and find even more knowledge. So with that being said, guys, please support my Patreon. I'm not a scam. I'm not trying to take your money and buy a Lambo. I'm not trying to steal from you. I'm trying to give to the community. You guys are raising funds so I can give to the community. I'm feeding you guys the true history because you've been fed lies all your life.